A colossal crack opened up in the sky over Nanrong City, marking the arrival of Awakening Day. On the bus, folks are just chilling and going about their day, but our MC is totally lost in his own little world. Shocked and wide-eyed, the kid almost falls backward, completely bewildered by the situation. Looking at the crowd around him, Jiang Yan gets a reality check he just time-traveled. Then it hits him, it's graduation day, the exact date everyone was supposed to awaken their powers. Smirking, our hero remembers that this entire city is going to be completely wiped out in just 2.5 years. In the previous timeline, grotesque beasts poured out of those rifts and wrecked humanity without a second thought. When humanity tried to fight back with heavy artillery, they quickly learned that magic made firearms completely useless. Eventually, they figured out that turning 18 meant you could awaken classes and score some insane skills to fight off the monsters. Because of that, society was totally rebuilt after 5 years of war and heavy losses. Today, it's mandatory for every student to hit the Rift Tower to find out their destiny. Divided into combat support and creation, the fighters are treated like rock stars, while the creation crew gets treated like a walking joke. In his past life, our MC had the terrible luck of awakening the absolutely useless rank F creation class. However, his hidden modification power was totally broken, letting him rename things and turn absolute junk into treasure. By showing off that skill way too early, the kid got snatched up by the bigwigs to work like a literal machine. Forced to forge god-tier items non-stop, he became the system's biggest cash cow. Terrified of the massive power he was generating, the authorities locked him up under house arrest. Right up until a level 96 dragon attacked the city, just as Jiang hit level 70, exposing a total setup to get him out of the picture. At the very edge of his final breath, the hero used his modification on a resurrection skill and bounced right back. Right on cue, the bus intercom announces they've arrived at the Rift Station, and everyone gets ready to hop off. Handed a second chance, the MC realizes he can only rely on himself from here on out. For this do-over, the rule is simple: his god-tier ability stays strictly off the record. Keeping his mouth shut is the only way to keep his friends and family safe from the top brass. With a confident grin, his game plan is to grind in secret, get ridiculously overpowered, and save the city. Outside, the Awakening Square is packed with nervous students waiting for the moment of truth. Among the crowd, the sheer panic of rolling a useless support class is eating everyone alive. Looking like an absolute boss, our hero gets showered with praise from the crowd, who idolizes his crazy talent in magic and martial arts. Green with envy, the eternal runner, Up Yang Hongwei tries to drag the kid down, claiming that straight A's do not guarantee a strong class. Staying in the zone, the kid brushes off the trash talk that even prodigies can roll the worst skills. Shortly after, the teacher calls Jiang Yan up to be the first one and set the bar for the whole school. Walking up to the altar, the instructor tells him to chill out and just touch the crystal ball to get the show on the road. The official grabs the mic to hype up the school's superstar to the entire audience. The sound of his steady footsteps echoes across the stage as the suspense goes through the roof. Standing before the magic circle, our MC is totally unfazed, knowing exactly what's coming his way. In the crowd, the girls are crossing their fingers for an elite warrior class, while the haters are praying he ends up flipping burgers. Cutting to the chase, the kid places his hand on the crystal, which is glowing with a purple aura. Instantly, a blinding golden light lights up the entire square. Cyclones of magical energy swirl around the hero, signaling the climax of his awakening. To everyone's absolute shock, the Jumbotron flashes the Tinkerer class in giant letters. The system cruelly confirms the tragedy rank F creation, literally the bottom of the barrel. The teacher grabs his head, totally devastated by his star pupil's massive flop. On the flip side, the rivals are laughing their heads off, pointing and roasting the kid's terrible luck. Crying tears of joy, the runner-up celebrates the downfall of the guy who stole his thunder for 3 straight years. Trying to soften the blow, the proctor points out that running a repair shop still pays the bills and beats being a farmer. Suddenly, the crystal starts glowing intensely again right under the MC's hand. Totally baffled, the proctor shouts that a second class is waking up. The teacher gets his hopes up again, praying this new skill turns things around. Out of nowhere, a blast of green energy shoots into the sky, proving the kid's massive potential. But the system has zero chill and slaps the word farmer on the screen for all to see. Rocking 2 rank F classes on his status, magic just totally buried the young guy's future. The audience's jaws drop, completely unable to process how the biggest prodigy pulled 2 absolute garbage classes. Crossing the line, the haters lose it, cracking up at the legendary combo of Garbage Man and Gardener. Keeping a poker face, Jiang walks down the stairs, ignoring the whispers of pity. The only thing anyone can talk about is how the school's top talent went totally down the drain. Feeling the heavy judgmental stares, the MC crosses the massive courtyard all by himself. Once he's out of sight, he flashes an evil little smirk, remembering the ace up his sleeve. strolling with his hands in his pockets looking fly. He knows those low ranks don't mean a thing. Instantly, his panel pops up showing the god tier skill that lets him edit names and items for 100 mana. Without missing a beat, he burns his energy and swaps his agricultural speed, upskill straight, into a resurrection spell. After the tweak, the power can now heal wounds and bring folks back from the beyond, totally breaking the world's logic. Knowing how absolutely busted this power is, the kid is certain he's completely immune to getting taken out. Looking up at the main screen, he locks his eyes on the rookie leaderboard. With sheer determination, his goal is to claim the #1 spot and crush the stigma against low ranks. Laser focused on winning, the hero swears he's going straight to the top without being anyone's doormat. Heading to his next stop, he hits the rookie training grounds, a zone crawling with captive monsters. With the grind on his mind, he knows this is the ultimate spot to power level safely. Smashing the high scores, there also hands out massive bonus points for getting into the elite colleges. The playbook now is to sweep the dungeon, wipe out the beasts, and shatter the current records. The bouncer at the door checks the kid's profile and is totally dumbfounded by the ultra rare double rank F combo. Worried the kid might meet a bad end, the soldier asks if he seriously wants to go in solo. Tapping the kid's shoulder, the guard warns him that weak classes need a squad to avoid a game over. Cutting the lecture short, Jiang demands the soldier hand over his starter gear already. Sighing, the officials figure the fallen prodigy has lost his marbles and wants to throw his life away in the dungeon. Giving in to his stubbornness, the guard tosses him the basic kit, featuring leather boots and a longsword. Spotting a boot that wasn't in his past life bundle, the hero catches the guard's quiet empathy before heading into the fray. Checking the starter loot, the system shows a sword with 5 damage and kicks with 3 agility. Even though he appreciates the hookup, the MC notices just how much they are sleeping on him because of his classes. Right after, the heavy metal doors slide open with a massive clank. Strolling in with the sword resting on his shoulder, he hears the guard tell him to scream for help if the bunnies get too rough. Giving a chill wave, the kid says thanks as the gate locks shut behind him. Now completely isolated inside, the hero silently vows to make those officials eat their words. Moving fast in the shadows, the kid uses his editing powers to beef up his gear. In a flash, the basic sword jumps up 10 attack points, turning into steel, and the standard boots morph into insanely fast windwalkers. Looking at the glowing weapon, the MC knows he could forge a god-tier sword if he really wanted to push the envelope. But, remembering the security cameras, he decides to play it cool to avoid catching the eyes of the big bosses. His past trauma taught him never to show his full hand to the world. Even though level 1 items have a power cap, this is more than enough to get the farm started. Stepping through the glowing portal, the hero enters the dungeon, which is split into beginner, advanced, and boss zones. Rustling through the leaves, dozens of ruby red eyes pop up in the dark, signaling the starter mobs. To smash the speedrun record, he needs to blitz to the end and take down the Rabbit King. Foaming at the mouth with razor-sharp teeth, the level 1 big-headed bunnies get ready to pounce. Gripping his sword tight, the kid's mission is to hit level 5 by squashing at least 100 of them. Full of rage, the critters launch themselves at the intruder without a second thought. Like an absolute plague, the rodent swarm rushes the kid, flooding the whole area. Sticking to the game plan, he knows hitting level 5 is mandatory to unlock the Cyclone Wolf territory. While dodging incoming attacks, the hero remembers the Wolf Zone is a total nightmare for others, but absolute perfection for his grind. With a swift and lethal strike, the steel sword slices through several monsters, turning them into sweet experience dust. Slicing and dicing everything in sight, he clears the floor, already eyeing level 10 to unlock his main innate ability. That level 10 skill is a ridiculously broken power that lets him fuse and tame the most dangerous creatures out there. Hungry for the win, the MC is absolutely positive that nobody is going to put the brakes on his glow. Up now. Back at the high school, the snobby Yang Hongwei is probably already on stage for his awakening. Soaking up the spotlight, the announcer calls the jealous rival up while the whole school watches. Sweating bullets, the trust fund kid is just praying to score anything higher than rank F just to flex on our hero. Suddenly, a crazy bright yellow light floods the area, signaling a top-tier class. The word Berserker flashes in glowing red on the academy's big screen. The combat rank are locked in, the rich kid roars in triumph, thinking he's basically invincible. Blown, the crowd starts whispering that the eternal runner up finally got his moment of glory. With an ego the size of Jupiter and pointing fingers, the jerk yells at everyone to forget his second-place reputation. Sporting a sadistic smirk, he plans to run the school and steamroll anyone who gets in his way. Flashing a thumbs down, the arrogant dude declares that the throne is officially his. His yes men take the cue to mock our MC, wondering how a rank F is even going to survive out there. Laughing it up with his squad, Yang is ticked off that he can't humiliate his double F rival face to face. Glancing at the gates, one of the flunkies gossips that he saw the hero marching straight to the rookie dungeon. Leading his posse, the bully pretends he's going there to show support, but really just wants to clown the kid in front of an audience. Catching on to the drama, the teacher realizes the rich kid's only goal is to go beat up the rank F student. The instructor sadly remembers the late nights when the hero would be studying all by himself through heavy storms. The kid's talent was always built on pure sweat, pushing himself to the absolute limit on the track field. Enduring the pain silently in the magic sims, the warrior always proved he was the hardest worker in the room. Slurping a lollipop and looking bored out of his mind, the school's second best fighter knows a rank F class doesn't erase his rival's genuine talent. Wang Qingfeng, the martial arts vice captain, has mad respect for the MC and completely tunes out the gossip. Staring off into the distance, the purple-haired swordsman knows he's the only one who truly gets his rival's dedication. Back during the freshman tournament, their brawl was a brutal test of endurance in the arena. Even battered and exhausted, Zhang Yan's sheer willpower earned him the permanent respect of his opponent. Lollipop in mouth, the swordsman decides to tag along with the gang just to stop any cheap shots against his rival. Striking a tough guy pose with his hands in his pockets, his rule is simple: anyone who lays a finger on the MC before he does is going to catch some serious hands. Deep in the dungeon, our hero takes a breather on a rock after wiping out over 100 mobs. Chilling on a mountain of defeated bunnies, he waits for the boss to spawn so he can hit level 5. The Rabbit King, a level 5 beast with glowing scarlet eyes and a crystal horn, steps out of the fog. Sitting at 94% experience, the hero knows he's way too gassed for a fistfight. Channeling energy into its glowing horn, the beast gears up for a deadly close-range charge. Like a literal missile, the Rabbit King tears up the dirt, rushing straight at the MC. Using his speed boots to sidestep, the boy genius already cooked up a plan to bag the win without breaking a sweat. The giant boss triggers its flaming headbutt and locks dead onto its target. Smirking ironically and snapping his fingers, the hero uses his word editor in the exact millisecond before impact. In the system, the enemy's magic name instantly changes to self-destructing flaming head. Totally confused, the creature feels its own crystal overload with way too much energy. A colossal fire blast explodes the boss's head, turning it entirely to ash. Shielding his face from the heat, the kid gets the sweet notification that he finally hit level 5. Outside, the academy scoreboard flashes, showing off a mind-blowing new record of 26 minutes. Completely floored, the Playboy squad almost falls over seeing the old time slashed cleanly in half. Grinding his teeth in pure rage, Yang accuses the rank F of hacking the system to pull off this stunt. The goons agree that busting this supposed fraud would ruin the kid's rep forever. Arm-crossed and glaring daggers, the rich kid vows to storm the dungeon and expose the MC's lies. Meanwhile, the hero gets wrapped in a green magical aura that heals him up in a flash. Plotting his next move, he locks his sights on the dreaded Storm Wolf as his new target. Gripping his sword tight, the young guy remembers just how much of a headache this monster was in his past life. Walking toward the exit, the kid promises to get payback for all the struggles he went through with interest. Standing in front of the new dungeon, he stares down the infamous rookie graveyard, dripping with confidence. In the shadows, level 6 to 9 wolves bear their blood, red fangs, under the command of their level 10 alpha. Knowing any normal freshman would be toast in there, the hero gets hyped for a brutal showdown with the pack. Past that massive gate, the loot drops from the wolf zone are incredibly high tier. Making it out alive guarantees a massive XP haul, plus the bonus of skipping straight to level 10 by taking out the alpha. For regular students, grinding to level 10 is pure torture that takes over 10 days of hardcore training. But shredding everyone in this lethal zone will have the MC leveling up in hours and unlocking his new power. As a bonus, beating the pack leader grants permanent clearance to hunt in the wild totally unsupervised. Blown away by the kid's guts, the proctor asks if he's seriously going solo, since only veteran squads ever try that. The guard recalls a tragic mess where a rank A prodigy tried the same stunt, barely made it out, and lost his college spot. Dripping with sarcasm, the soldier asks if the double rank F kid just walked up here to throw his life away. Smiling calmly, our hero appreciates the heads up but says he's sticking to the plan. Annoyed by his stubbornness, the official pops the door and tells the kid to hurry up and go inside if he wants to meet his doom. Chill steps, the MC totally ignores the guard's trash talk, treating it like nothing more than dogs barking. The terrifying growls echoing from the dunes make it crystal clear the fire wolves aren't playing around. Skipping the warm-up, the kid marches straight into the open area looking for a fight. Spinning his steel sword, the hero faces down the monsters, itching to test drive his upgraded gear. Up in the watchtower, the proctor watches everything, laughing at the sheer stupidity of the rank F. With a mocking sneer, the soldier is 100% sure the cocky punk is going to be Monster Chow in seconds. Defying all logic, the MC delivers a flawless cross-slash, dicing the first wave of monsters on the spot. Absolute shock hits the proctor, who grabs the railing, unable to believe the kid's raw skill without even using magic. Sweating bullets, the official starts to entertain the terrifying thought that this kid might be a hidden powerhouse. Minutes into the absolute bloodbath, the dungeon floor is completely painted red. Sitting on top of a mountain of defeated wolves, our hero takes a breather, planting his sword right at the top. Jaw on the floor, the proctor realizes this kid is a straight-up force of nature. Scared of catching hands for his earlier insults, the soldier decides to quietly clock out before the kid finishes up. Taking a deep breath and glowing with a green aura, the kid admits his busted resurrection skill is the only thing that kept him from getting sent to the Shadow Realm several times. The system details that the resurrection's full heal wipes away fatal damage for 100 mana points. Analyzing the brawl, he notes that the wolf's strength and speed completely outclass the bunny's stats. Wiping some blood off his cheek, the hero definitely feels the hits, but decides to walk it off. Yanking his sword from the last wolf's body, his attention shifts completely to the incoming boss. A ruthless gaze glowing purple, the MC's goal is to rewrite the history of the entire world. A massive shadow with emerald eyes bursts through the dust cloud, announcing the main event. Snarling and flashing colossal fangs, the alpha gets ready to tear the human to shreds. The U identifies the Storm Wolf King level 10, packing a nasty speed bonus. Analyzing it coldly, the kid remembers this monster dishes out lethal wind attacks and strikes lightning fast. The panel reveals the wolf's skills deal continuous slashing damage based on elemental magic. The hero quickly figures out that trying to edit wind magic could trigger a dangerous bug in his own powers. Before he can overthink it, the beast blasts off like a lightning bolt, kicking up dirt with its claws. Overflowing with swagger, the MC just rips his shirt off for better mobility in close quarters combat. Scars out and shirtless, he decides to face the beast with some good old-fashioned throwing hands. With absurd speed, the hero dodges the enemy swipe by a hair and immediately preps his payback. Launching into a crazy jump, the kid proves exactly why he was the undisputed king of hand-to-hand combat at school. Crashing down like a meteor, he swings the sword aiming straight for the alpha wolf's jugular. In the previous dungeon, terrified students are just celebrating being alive after calling for backup at the perfect time. Sprawled on the floor exhausted, Yang Hongwei's goons are traumatized after getting absolutely styled on by basic starter bunnies. Furious at their sheer stupidity, the guards chew the squad out for trespassing in a danger zone with zero prep. Filthy and with a bruised ego, the playboy cries tears of rage, totally unable to accept how easily the MC breezed through that same area. Blaming his crew, the bully smacks his buddy and keeps swearing that Zhang Yan is using cheat codes. The embarrassment hits a new peak when the outside screen announces Jiang just soloed the Wolf King, shattering yet another record. Speechless, the haters watch as the hero chops the dungeon's previous best time by 30 minutes. Turning his back to his friends, Yang tries to mask his monumental rage with a forced, desperate laugh. A flashing a villainous look, the rich kid decides to use this impossible time to accuse the kid of hacking and get him expelled. Dragging his crew to the neighboring dungeon, the antagonist plots to publicly humiliate the hero. Back in the arena, the MC's sword is buried in the giant storm wolf skull. Panning heavily under the sun, the kid gets hyped about hitting level 10 and unlocking his new magic. The blue screen drops a notification for his new durability passives and his farmer power, plant grafting. With a greedy glint in his eye, the hero uses his text hack to rename his farming perk. Firing up the editor, he swaps plant for universal, unlocking the ultimate monster fusion technique. The description says universal grafting can fuse any creature together, spawning wildly overpowered mutants. Knowing how busted this is, he focuses on maxing out this spell's level to guarantee success when crafting divine beasts. The kid is already daydreaming about fusing elite mobs to create rank S dragons capable of wiping out entire armies. Using tamer contracts, he'll be able to enslave these broken creations permanently. Sword resting on his shoulder, he pictures an army of monstrous beasts trampling his enemies. With a dark expression, he remembers how he was played like a fiddle by the elites in his past life. The memory of his old slave drivers just fuels his thirst for payback. Drenched in boss blood, the hero makes it crystal clear that in this life, he is the one pulling the strings. Stoked about the loot drops, the kid decides to pocket his rewards and dip out of the dungeon. Before bouncing, he spots a rare green gem that dropped from the boss, perfect for buffing his gear. Knowing the school claims ownership of any drops inside the training grounds, he decides to farm in the open world now that he's level 10. Out in the wild, the profits are 100% his, which totally fixes his lack of cash for new armor. Clutching his chest, he feels a sharp sting and realizes that minor scratches don't trigger the resurrection's auto-heal. Totally broke, the kid realizes he doesn't have a dime to pay an official healer. Smiling like a total creep, the most practical solution he can think of is to intentionally trigger a game over so the passive heal kicks in for free. But checking out the security at the door, he figures that offing himself in front of a crowd would draw away too much unwanted heat. Sneaking away, the MC looks for a deserted alley to execute his tactical reset on the down low. A few minutes later, he respawns at the gate completely healed up and rocking fresh clothes. Walking tall through the main square, the kid tunes out the noisy crowd chatting about the exams. Standing in the street, the hero finds it weird just how many students are huddled up out there. Someone in the mob points at him and screams that he's the guy who completely smashed the record. Carrying his sword lazily, he realizes the whole gang is just there to catch a glimpse of the new prodigy. With all eyes on him, the MC knows that if he hit the reset button now to use the heal spell, it would be an absolute disaster. With a bleeding chest, the hero knows that flashing his busted heal would leak his biggest trump card to the public. Walking by quietly, his only mission is to find a chill spot to vanish from all the nosy onlookers. Suddenly, the square is bathed in a heavenly golden glow that grabs everyone's attention. Floating with dazzling wings of light, the most influential girl in school makes a divine entrance. Awestruck, the students whisper that she's rocking the exclusive Holy Angel class, a rank S support. Yao Kexin, the noble heiress of the Yao family, starts radiating her purification magic. The rumor mill goes wild, confirming the rich girl actually came to grind the dungeons in person. Washed in the girl's healing light, the MC feels his injuries vanish in the blink of an eye. With a serene look, the noble stares directly at the kid after wrapping up her healing chant. Pain-free, the hero politely thanks her for the solid favor as he walks past. To return the good vibes, the kid offers his crafting services to patch up her weapons for free anytime. Flashing a super sweet smile, the heiress takes him up on it and says she'll definitely hit him up for repairs. Shoving his way through the crowd like a jerk, Yang Hongwei pops up, ready to start drama and ruin the vibe. Screaming at the top of his lungs, the rich kid accuses the MC and tells the crowd to stop falling for his lies. Standing on top of a ledge, the villain yells that Jiang rigged the system, claiming a rank F crafter could never win solo. The students start whispering, totally agreeing that a tinkerer class has no real combat skills. Waving his arms around wildly, the playboy throws a tantrum, swearing the kid used illegal and stolen gear to get that time. Smirking like a snake, the antagonist insists the hero only cheated to try and steal his spotlight. Pointing right in Jiang's face, Yang brings up that the kid's family is broke and could never afford gear that good. Furious, the villain accuses him of skimming from the scholarship funds the academy gives to the poor kids. Totally manipulated by the slander, the students start calling the MC a thief and a fraud. With his signature cool attitude and a little smirk, the kid asks how the rich brat plans to actually prove any of this. Pumping out his chest, the troublemaker challenges the hero to a bare, knuckle brawl, convinced he's going to curb stomp the rank F. Hating the unfair setup, the heiress Yao Kexin tries to step in, begging the kid not to fight a rank A. The MC nods, appreciating her concern, but guarantees he has the whole situation completely under control. Slamming his sword into the dirt, the hero agrees to throw down unarmed, leaving the crowd completely shook. Flashing a menacing glare, Jiang's goal is to absolutely fold the bully right then and there to get him out of his hair. Radiating insane red energy, the playboy mocks the kid and reminds everyone just how overpowered a rank A berserker is. Screaming, the rival triggers his rage passive, trading a chunk of health for a massive physical stat boost. Staring each other down in the middle of the square, the sheer muscle gap between them makes the crowd hold their breath. Without an ounce of fear, our hero roasts the enemy's transformation and tells him to get ready for the consequences. Focused and completely silent, the MC thinks it's hilarious when people rely strictly on system stats. Cracking his knuckles, he knows for a fact that rank A combat power is pure garbage compared to his actual technique. Dropping into a classic martial arts stance, he's about to prove that raw skill completely trumps magic. Fists literally on fire, the meathead charges like a wild animal, aiming a haymaker right at the hero's face. Freaking out, young Yao clasps her hands, dreading the impending massacre of a crafter fighting a pure brawler. Barefoot and standing his ground, the kid dropped his gear on purpose, so absolutely nobody could accuse him of cheating. Rocking zero weapons and regular street clothes, the hero dials into 100% of his combat experience from his past life. Blinded by rage, the rival puts all his weight into the punch to knock the MC's block off. Shifting his neck just a few millimeters, the kid dodges the strike, leaving the playboy swinging at thin air. Freaking out over the miss, the berserker tries to chain another flaming uppercut with maximum force. Punching the air like a maniac, the bully's strategy is to pin the kid down with pure brute force. Only after images behind, the hero slips every single strike with terrifying smoothness. Watching a fiery fist breeze past his nose, Jiang admits to himself that the guy's strength stat is actually pretty high. Ducking under the meathead's guard, the hero clowns on the big guy's absolute lack of technique. Popping up behind the opponent out of nowhere, the MC whispers that punching ghosts does nothing and he's way too slow. Landing a brutal hook straight into the bully's ribs, the loud crack of bone shuts the entire plaza up. Staring coldly at the dropping enemy, the hero secures the win without breaking a single drop of sweat. Spitting blood and dropping to his knees, the rich kid goes into shock over losing to a tinkerer class. Blaming the pain and passing out in the dirt, the fake champ has to be carried away by his terrified posse. Looking down at the mess, our kid dusts off his hands, proving he's still the undisputed #1 legend of the school. Frozen in place, the audience tries to comprehend how a crafting support just flatlined an elite warrior with pure skill. Slapping the dirt off his pants, the MC decides he's had enough fun for one day and decides to head out. Walking toward the gate, the new mission is to hunt down good items to mod before diving headfirst into the open world. Thinking about his text editing hack, he's totally sure he can forge legendary weapons out of cheap garbage. Scratching his head, he decides to take a stroll through the black market to score a decent bargain. Flipping his wallet open to check his funds, the kid sighs, realizing he's way more broke than he thought. Suddenly, his battle instincts scream as he senses a sucker punch coming right for the back of his neck. Without even turning around, he catches the strike one-handed, showing off some freakish combat reflexes. Flashing his usual sarcastic smirk, the hero instantly knows who tried to sneak him. Smiling back, the blonde swordsman hypes up the flawless reflexes of the guy who owned the leaderboards for 3 years straight. Tossing a soda can in the air, the blonde asks his rival to hang out and chat after that whole spectacle. Sipping drinks on the curb, the warrior admits he saw the whole thing was going to deck the playboy if the hero hadn't done it first. Taking a swig, the blonde confirms that Jiang Yan is the only guy he actually respects as a rival. Glancing sideways, our MC returns the compliment, well aware his buddy is also hiding his true power level. In both their heads, that insane freshman tournament is still an incredibly vivid memory. Covered in bruises back then, the swordsman honorably took the loss against the MC. Downing the rest of his soda, the hero jokes that ever since that day, his rival has just been throwing matches. Teasing the blonde, he says the rich kid was only losing on purpose to make sure the cash prize went to the broke student. Laughing out of sheer embarrassment, the blonde shoots back that he was really just dodging the killer look the MC always had in the ring. Locking his purple eyes on his buddy, the kid asks straight up if the blonde plans on throwing the national tournament too. Sitting up straight, the swordsman swears that in the finals, he's going all out and not pulling any punches. In a clash of intense stares, the two rivals lock in a promise for an absolute, no-breaks deathmatch down the line. With a simple toast of their soda cans, the bond and rivalry between the two geniuses grows stronger than ever. Whipping out a black card, the blonde offers to pay $2,000 for the speedrun strategy against the wolves. Waving with his can, the blonde walks off asking for the guide, while the MC checks his balance on the app. Back-turned, the hero takes the deal, eyes literally sparkling as he sees the numbers pop up on the screen. Smirking subtly, he promises to pay that cash back tenfold when he gets the chance. With $2,000 in the bank, the kid finally has the capital to go relic hunting at the illegal market stalls. Strutting along all relaxed, he's super eager to see what kind of trash he can spin into gold. The notorious black market operates way off the grid, tucked into a damp alleyway between the skyscrapers. Knowing that 99% of the stuff there is pure garbage, he knows he'll need an eagle eye to dig up a decent base item. Trusting his god-tier cheat, the young guy knows with a little luck, he completely bypassed the laws of physics. Stopping at a makeshift booth, he spots a bluish meteorite blade with a wolf gem embedded in it. The panel shows the meteorite sword is level 10, packs 60 firepower, and deals wind damage. Acting all tough behind sunglasses, the street vendor demands $18,000 for the busted weapon, totally shocking the hero with the scam. Pointing at a basic sword tossed in the corner, the kid asks the price and finds out it's $5,000. The system reads that the simple steel blade is level 10, has a power of 65, and its durability is in the yellow zone. Pulling a risky bluff, the hero offers to fix the pricey sword for free if he can keep the cheap one as payment. Super skeptical, the vendor lifts his shades, laughing at the idea of a teenager repairing magic weapon durability. Sparking some blue magic in his hand, the kid asks for a little faith, hiding the fact that the cheap sword is his real target. Cold inculating, the MC's entire game plan relies purely on slapping his cheat onto the steel blade. In his head, that mediocre weapon is going to get rewritten into a mythical relic from the old legends. Crossing his arms, the merchant scoffs and says not even Pros can master that complex restoration magic. Keeping his focus on the spell, the hero calmly mentions he's just a rank F support. The shopkeeper laughs out loud, bragging that as a rank D blacksmith, he already knows the kid is going to fail miserably. Holding the expensive item, the vendor starts giving a whole lecture about the magical rules of weapon reconstruction. The system indicates that if durability hits 0, the gear shatters into 1,000 pieces with 0 chance of recovery. To fix the wear and tear, a crafter has to manually rebuild the blade's entire internal magic network. Looking like a total con artist, the guy warns that if the kid makes the damage worse, he's paying the 18,000 fine on the spot. Watching the scammer from a distance, Yao Kexin takes note of the MC's icy coolness during the negotiation. Worried, the girl remembers that even rank B masters in her guild get massive headaches trying to restore durability. Yanking the heavy sword with confidence, our hero tells the swindler to pay close attention to the miracle. With cybernetic energy glowing on his hands, he flashes back to his slave days fixing supreme tier items. Back in that era of torture, he polished his repair technique until it reached absolute, automatic perfection. Smirking on the inside, he realizes his past nightmare just became his most busted skill in the present. A bright techie light wraps around the cracked meteorite, perfectly sealing the fractures in the metal alloy. The kid handles the now flawless weapon so smoothly it looks like he did the job blindfolded. The alleyway customers are absolutely floored, whispering about the high schooler's insane talent. Impressed, Yao realizes the kid wasn't just talking big when he promised to fix her gear. Handing the glowing weapon back to its owner, the MC pulls up the status window showing 100% integrity. Jumping for joy, the hustler grabs the sword, well aware its street value just tripled. Keeping his word, the merchant hands the basic blue steel sword over to the kid without trying to pull a fast one. With the item secured, the young guy's imagination runs wild, ready to fire up edit mode and craft an absolute monster of a weapon. He highlights blue steel and plans to swap it out for the epic term, Chingang. Wrapped in golden flames invisible to everyone else, the basic sword undergoes the divine rewrite process. According to the myths, this sword belonged to a general who soloed entire armies 7 times back in the day. Holding a ridiculously overpowered weapon for free, the kid celebrates saving his 2,000 college bucks. Looking a bit down, the MC thinks about his little sister who is still grieving the tragic loss of their parents. Knowing he's the man of the house now, his mission is to hoard as much gold as possible to bulletproof her future. Suddenly, royalty calls. Yao Kexin's sweet voice interrupts his thoughts, offering him a freelance escort gig. Stepping right up to the hero, the rich girl offers him 50,000 bucks to help her power level to 10. Without a second thought, our kid smiles and accepts the massive payday that just dropped into his lap. All about that easy money, he celebrates the chance to line his pockets just for carrying a girl through a beginner dungeon. Pointing at the freshly repaired meteorite blade, the noble tells the vendor she's buying it. Getting greedy, the shopkeeper bumps the price up to 25,000, cashing in on the weapon's perfect condition. Paying with a spatial gold ring, the girl terrifies the street vendor by casually flexing that she's ultra elite. Bowing out of pure respect, the vendor hands over the weapon, sweating bullets over the fear of beefing with royalty. Smiling sarcastically, the kid judges the vendor for being super gullible, which totally explains why he throws money away so easily. Struggling to hold the heavy sword with her skinny arms, the girl almost tips over while the vendor happily counts his stacks. Running the numbers, the hero decides to use the rich girl's healing spells to take down a boss he hasn't explored yet. Offering the pricey sword to the MC as a gift, the girl blushes and begs him to accept it. Surprised by the massive flex, he finds it hilarious just how polite and submissive the young heiress can be. Skipping the fake modesty, Jiang takes the heavy sword and thanks her for the awesome loot. Thrilled, the girl plans on buddying up with the hero, knowing he's destined to be a living legend soon. Strapping both swords to his back like a total pro, the young guy escorts his client to the monster zone. Back at the main rookie dungeon, the duo gears up to start wiping the map. Spinning like an absolute tornado, our hero shreds bunnies non-stop, boosting the girl up 3 levels in the blink of an eye. Bulldozing the area 2 wolves in record time, the pair smashes the dungeon's best time without taking a single scratch. The central scoreboard in the city flashes red, broadcasting the dynamic rookie duo's crushing victory. The chatter blows up in the plaza again, with students losing their minds seeing a rank F shatter records alongside the school goddess. Stunned, the students start wondering if this Yao Kexin is actually the little princess of the most dangerous family in the country. The glowing logo of the Dali Chamber of Commerce proves the girl literally controls the entire nation's finances. Dead tired in the sand, the young girl begs for a time, out to catch her breath before pushing to level 10. Seeing level 13 light up, the kid tells the heiress to keep moving so they don't break their kill streak. Deep in the unexplored parts of the cave, Killer Turquoise eyes reveal the true tyrant hiding in the dungeon. Cooking up a risky idea, our hero decides to skip straight to the Flame Boar Zone, the only area with a rank C difficulty. Staring down the brutal iron gates, the suffocating heat proves the monsters inside are way out of their league. Knowing the kid's track record, the guards beg him not to go in, warning that the Boar King has absolutely no mercy. Blades on his back, the kid fires back that the bigger the danger, the fatter the XP payout. Flashing a side smirk, the MC reminds the guards he's got the best support in the game right behind him. Giving in to the duo's swagger, the soldiers pop the lock and pray the kids make it out alive. Crossing into the pitch-black cave, the hero thanks them for the cheers and stays locked onto the enemy's nest. In the middle of the dense, humid jungle, the girl finds it super sketchy that there are no low-level mobs around to hunt. Stepping through the grass, the young guy explains that there's only one monster here, the undisputed overlord of the turf. Shaking with fear, the girl grips her support wand, totally terrified of fighting a boss head-on. Suddenly, the ground shakes violently, signaling that the big boss just woke up on the wrong side of the bed. Piercing through the fog, the colossal shape of a blue flame boar with deadly tusks shows up snorting. Drawing his hacked sword, our warrior smiles and says he finally found someone his own size. Flashing spear-like teeth, the beast roars, blasting an unbearable heat wave across the zone. The hero's scanner shows the creature is level 15, and its fire stomp literally melts the floor. Getting into stance, Jiang tells the girl to fall back and prep her heal exclusively for when he yells for it. Sprinting through the trees like a blur, the kid rushes in full throttle to catch the monster off guard. Using the trunks as a springboard, the hero flies high to try and hit the beast in the back. Spinning in mid-air, Jiang's plan is to let gravity help him tear open the big guy's neck. Catching the movement, the boss lets out a weird screech and tanks the hit with its insane defense. A massive metallic clank shatters the air as the boar blocks the kid's sword using its rock-hard crystal tusk. Shocked by the beast's reflexes, the hero gives the boss props for defending such a perfectly calculated strike. Taking advantage of getting knocked out of his partner's line of sight, the MC pulls out his secret weapon to use the edit. In a fraction of a second, the basic sword reverts back into the Chingang blade, radiating pure destructive energy. Diving in with the weapon shining bright, the kid swears to himself that absolutely nothing can survive a slice from this sword. The UI flashes absurd stats of 300 attack power, plus a passive that shreds armor like wet tissue paper. Super proud of the fake power he cooked up, the kid knows his modded weapon is broken enough to butcher legends. Spinning his body at max speed, he unloads the strike with 5 times the force, completely dicing the boar's defenses. Slicing through the beast like a laser, the momentum of the fight flips to Jiang's favor in milliseconds. With one clean slash, the beast's toughest tusk gets chopped clean off and goes flying. Screaming in agony and bleeding heavily, the beast staggers, already showing signs that it's running out of gas. Before the dust even settles, the kid reverts the sword back to its normal steel version so Awakens doesn't suspect a thing. Utterly stunned, the girl cannot comprehend how a measly rank E weapon destroyed the beast's armored horn. Trying to make sense of it, she assumes the hero's success comes from his own freakish physical strength and not his gear. Romanticizing the whole thing, the noble thinks the kid trained in forgotten martial arts to surpass actual frontline fighters. Looking at his partner's clueless face, the MC sighs, completely aware that the monster is still kicking. Yelling at his support, the kid demands she drop the heal right now to secure his slice of the final XP. Waking up from her daze, Yao fires off the light spell, covering the kid in max regeneration. Health bar full, the hero charges head on at the dizzy boar, aiming to wrap up the hunt. Thinking on his feet, the kid admits that renaming skills mid-brawl is the most busted cheat code ever. He considers renaming his other sword to God of Meteors, just to finish the job with style. However, scared he might fry his own brain or completely drain his mana with heavy edits, he sticks to the safest route. Out of options, the Boar King burns its very last drop of energy and charges with a lethal blue flame tackle. Rock solid and with flawless technique, our hero waits for the impact with his chest out like a true martial arts master. A violent crash kicks up a massive cloud of fire and dirt, hiding the outcome of the clash. Sweating from the heat, the hero plans to edit the name of the beast's attack to completely break its mechanics. Using a super stern voice, he orders the noble to shut her eyes immediately, making sure she doesn't catch him cheating. Not understanding the weird request in the middle of a firestorm, she just agrees and does what she's told. Shaking with her eyes squeezed shut, the girl huddles up and trusts the kid with her life. Pointing his hand at the fiery tornado, the MC triggers the hack, targeting the boss's ultimate move. With a snap, the monster's lightning-fast charge gets rewritten into sluggish, harmless flames. Feeling its body sink into invisible mud, the giant boar floats in slow motion, becoming the easiest target on Earth. With a picture-perfect X/, the hero cuts the enemy right down the middle and calls game. Falling to pieces, the beast carcass dissolves into glowing dust and a mountain of coins. Laughing his head off at the loot, the MC jumps up 2 levels instantly for taking down a rank C boss. Opening her eyes and seeing her XP skyrocket, Yao Kexin celebrates hard, leveling up 3 times without ever laying a finger on the monster. Sheathing his weapons looking cool as ice, the kid is just relieved his god tier power is still a secret. Smirking with an ulterior motive, he notes that carrying a scared rich girl is the absolute best way to farm extra loot. Walking over to her, he announces the security detail was a flawless success and that she can look again. Blinking slowly, the young girl tries to peer through the dust and spots the remains of the fallen boss. Confirming the Boar King is toast, the girl firmly believes the rank F pulled off a solo miracle. Blushing with admiration, the noble hypes up her bodyguard's ruthless combat style and freakish strength. Heading for the exit, the hero declares the shift is over and tells them to sweep up the drops on the floor. Fascinated by the kid's back, Yo blindly believes Jiang is a legendary figure who honors his contracts no matter what. Picking up the pace, she quickly calls out to the MC, looking a little flushed. Holding out both hands, the rich girl hands over the agreed cash plus a fat tip for the 5-star service. Shocked by how fancy the item is, the kid sees he just scored an ultra, valuable blue dimensional ring. The description states the ring completely ignores physics and can store tons of materials in a spatial vacuum. Waving the gift off, Jiang argues the jewelry is way too pricey, and taking it would be basically robbing her. Smiling sweetly, the girl begs him to keep it, promising that her safety and the extra levels were worth way more than that. Plotting his forest grind, the kid realizes turning down free inventory space would be a massive strategic fail. Giving in to the young girl's offer, he slips the ring on and genuinely thanks the heiress for being so generous. To make things even, the hero swears the girl has an unrestricted IOU with him whenever she needs a favor. Walking back to the gate in high spirits, the two finish their trip loaded with cash and levels to spare. Back in the city, the freshman scoreboard lights up, putting the level 15 prodigies at the very top, heating up the future rivalry for our hero. Sizing up the competition, the MC realizes holding onto the throne is going to be tough, since the guys below him awaken some insane classes. One of the top dogs from the rival schools is Liu Feng, the famous dual blade warrior who totally wrecks people in one-on-ones. Knowing Liu Yuan's reputation, the MC notes the rank S is an absolute master of highly lethal sneak attacks. Ready for war, the hero memorizes these key names and swears to face them all with zero mercy. Striking a flawless kung fu pose, the MC gets ready for the heavy-hitting matches in the upcoming finals. Trusting the duo's energy, the officers leave the gate wide open, crossing their fingers that the kids don't get wiped out in there. Walking through the dark canyon walls, the couple focuses on marching straight into the boar's den. Reaching the dense brush, Yao finds it super weird that there are no regular mobs along the path to hunt. Strutting with confidence, the hero explains that the boss here is super territorial and wipes out its own minions. Terrified of the territorial boss's sheer power, the young girl grips her support wand, dreading the worst fight of her life. The ground shakes violently, proving the Titan has woken up ready to rumble. Pushing open a creaky wooden door, the smell of hot food welcomes the hero back to his humble home. Holding a jacket, Jiang's 15-year-old little sister greets him, totally startled by his surprise return. Feeling the heavy vibe at the simple dinner, the trauma of losing their parents reflects in the girl's uncomfortable silence. Back in the day, the kid's infectious smile used to light up the entire house when the family was whole. But after their parents vanished into the magic rift, the light in her face totally faded. Playing with her food and refusing to make eye contact, the little girl confesses she wants to drop out of school. The kid freezes with his chopsticks in the air, completely lost and not understanding where this super depressing talk came from. To a straight A genius, throwing in the towel right before college entrance exams makes zero sense in the MC's head. Staring right at him, she says she saw her brother's picture, sitting pretty at the top of the city's rookie mage leaderboard. Voice overflowing with love, the girl says he's basically guaranteed a future as the absolute best fighter in town. Sighing sadly, she admits that compared to his god, given talent, her own powers are basically worthless. Shrinking into her chair, the little girl offers to work a dead-end job to fund her brother's elite education. Putting on a tough guy face, the hero tells her to spill it and reveal the real reason behind this whole sacrifice speech. Before she can answer, an older guy opens the living room door, instantly shattering the dinner tension. Catching the awkward vibe, the visitor rubs the back of his neck, asking if he just interrupted a family argument. Taking a seat in the beat-up armchair, the guy drops the bomb that his loan shark business went under, and he needs to collect their debt. The kid recognizes the loan shark known as Uncle Quan, a humble guy who fronted them cash to survive. Glancing at his sister's sad little face, the MC connects the dots. The fear of defaulting on the debt is what made her try to quit school. Eyes glued to the floor, the little one holds back tears, well aware they don't have 2 pennies to rub together. Knowing they're broke, she'd rather work like a dog than drag down her genius brother's future. Cutting straight to the chase, Jiang asks the loan shark for the total balance owed over the past few years. Looking awkward, the older dude says the base amount without the crazy interest is already pushing 43,000. Whipping the 50,000 bucks out of his jacket, the MC tells the guy to keep the change to cover the interest. Choking on her own shock, the little girl's eyes pop out, unable to fathom how her brother pulled that much cash out of thin air. Out of the corner of his eye, the kid realizes he's going to have to spin a really good lie so his little sister doesn't catch on to his hustle. Picking up on the sensitive family drama, the loan shark nods and figures it's his cue to hit the road. Smiling in relief with the cash in hand, the guy promises to help the kids out again if times get tough and vanishes out the door. Once they're alone, the sister bursts into tears, totally convinced the MC got mixed up with gangs to pay the bill. Ruffling her hair, the hero swears up and down that he made that cash working completely honest jobs. Flashing a massive, confident grin, the hero declares that the 300,000 tournament prize money is as good as his. Looking at his little sister with pure affection, the MC swears money will never be the reason she cries ever again. Letting all those bottled-up tears go, the sister cries in pure relief, hugging her own shoulders. Handing the rest of the loaded debit card to the little one, the kid forces her to spend every last cent on herself. Looking extremely happy, the hero tells the little girl to focus 100% on her magic training, so she doesn't fall behind. Messing up her hair playfully, he warns her that she needs to get strong so she doesn't embarrass the future king of the leaderboards. Or bawling happy tears, the girl feels like a massive boulder was just lifted off her skinny shoulders. Throwing her arms around the kid's neck tightly, her new promise is to become the ultimate pride of the Jiang family. Resting his chin on her head, our boy mentally locks in the fact that the #1 title is already in the bag. With a sharp look, the kid's master plan is to hit the unmapped wilderness to grind without anyone breathing down his neck. The holographic sign warns that the Dragon Valley is a highly toxic zone crawling with colossal beasts. The lore says that deep inside this green hell, ancient bloodlines of draconic beasts rule the roost. The shadow of a dragon in the dark woods makes it crystal clear that only veteran mercenaries last out there. The MC's whole scheme is to snatch a dragon egg and use his innate ability to craft the ultimate pet. Aside from rolling for a mythic pet, he also plans to make a killing mining magic ores that guilds pay top dollar for. Dead set on getting filthy rich, the kid decides the Acid Valley is his very first stop tomorrow morning. The terminal voice announces the bus has finally pulled up to the main gate, the wild underworld. Outside the military checkpoint, our boy notices the place is swarming with elite hunters and mercs armed to the teeth. From the fortified metal walls, a red light projects the force field that stops the beasts from rushing the metropolis. Decked out with magic artillery and electric fences, the outpost guarantees not a single critter gets through. Back in the day, corrupt high-level commanders ran this place and literally enslaved anyone with a creation class. At the security check, the guards are rocking ridiculously expensive platinum armor and lugging giant mana rifles. Laughing at how tough they act, the kid chuckles to himself knowing his designer dimensional ring could probably buy the whole base. Staring down the massive east exit, Jiang mentally maps out the safest route to reach the dragon pit. The 3D radar highlights the red zones, flagging the acid crater as a nest for mobs way over level 18. With his usual cocky grin, the kid decides the isolated valley is the perfect spot to rank up in peace. Flashing a fake farmer ID, the MC tries to slide through the security block under the radar. The guard loses his mind looking at the card, yelling that a solo rank F farmer is going to be turned into minced meat out there in 2 seconds. Casually taking his ID back, the kid gives a chill wave and promises he's not going to meet his maker in the woods. Refusing to watch a student walk to his doom, the officer decides to use physical force to hold the kid back. Lunging for the kid's shoulder, the military guy tries to pin him down before he crosses into the danger zone. Moving like a literal shadow, the hero sidesteps perfectly, leaving the elite soldier grabbing at the foggy air. The guard, sitting at level 30, freezes in absolute shock, seeing a rank F dodge a military takedown without breaking a sweat. Grabbing his panicked boss, another patroller screams that the kid is the legendary record breaker from the academy. Back turned to the stunned guards, the MC fades into the abyss's scarlet fog, leaving the entire squad with their jaws on the floor. Walking away from the bewildered guards, he realizes that his dodge is miles ahead of what even the rank S fighters of the past could pull off. Stepping into the toxic swamp, green acid smoke literally burns the leaves, proving that taking a deep breath here is a one-way ticket to game over. Holding a glowing purifier pill, the kid gets ready to pop the antidote so he doesn't melt in the area's toxic air. Racing against the clock, the MC downs the cheap capsule that only buys him 3 hours of survival in the dungeon. Swooping down and shredding the rotten trees, the level 13 venomous winged lizards open their jaws to strike. With a fatal cross slash, the hero obliterates the flying targets, securing his first massive chunk of XP for the afternoon. Strolling over their bodies with a little chuckle, the hero gets hyped about the absolutely busted amount of experience the open world dishes out. Stressing over the antidote timer, he fires up his god-tier magic to juice his gear instantly. Ignoring the danger and dragging his purple sword through the brush, he marches relentlessly toward the most toxic part of the map. Sending out a slash of pure light from his broken Shingang sword, the kid announces the official slaughter has begun. Shredding the death spiders without an ounce of pity, his XP bar shatters, launching him straight to level 16 in one go. Ripping the monster plants out by the roots, his aggressive clearing speed rockets the hero right into level 17. Squashing the venom toads in the Black Lagoon, Jiang Yan breaks through the level 18 wall like it's child's play. Flopping onto a rock for a breather, he chugs some water and checks his current stats in the system UI. Complaining to nobody in particular, the kid gets salty that he cleared the whole block without dropping a single piece of sellable loot. An arrogant voice pops out of nowhere, asking if the kid really wiped out this whole area by himself. Spinning around fast, our hero spots the snobby rank S assassin Lu Yuan, flanked by a loudmouth lackey. Radiating a purple aura of doom, the Lu clan pretty boy looks at the MC like he's a bug stuck to his shoe. Acting all high and mighty with his foot on a rock, the guard dog insults the kid for taking too long to answer his boss. Standing up calmly with his hand on his hilt, our MC throws the shade right back, asking if they're the ones who did the dirty work. Red in the face, the lapdog screams that it's completely unacceptable for a street rat to talk to the elite leader like that. Holding his hot-headed buddy back, the Lu hare actually finds the kid's disrespect kind of amusing and offers him a spot in his crew. Brushing right past the two jerks with his sword resting on his neck, the kid rejects the offer with a scowl and tells them to move. Grinding his teeth, the pet security guard curses his boss for not letting him wreck the cheeky kid right there in the mud. Watching the glowing purple tracks, the rank S admits the double F is hiding something, but swears they'll take the kid out next time. Cracking his knuckles and laughing like a villain, the servant daydreams about the moment he gets to slam the kid into the pavement. Checking his magic antidote timer, our hero decides to hunt a few more targets to try and scrape level 19 before dipping. After walking in dead silence for nearly an hour, Jiang sweeps the toxic sludge, crossing his fingers for a rare spawn. Bummed out over not finding the hidden boss, he starts thinking the urban legends about the mythic dragon are just cheap bar talk. If the rumors were actually true, those winged beasts would be soaring around here, but the acid sky is completely empty. Out of nowhere, a living, sticky whip strikes from the flank, aiming to take the hero's head clean off. Kicking his survival instincts into overdrive, he ducks and tries to slice the surprised tentacle with a vertical slash from his steel sword. Jumping backward, the MC watches the rubbery thing retreat into the fog without taking basically any damage from the cut. Ticked off that his blade didn't chop the thing off, the kid realizes the creature has some freakish biological armor. Leaping out of the green slime into the sky, a disgusting, bloated toad silhouette drops down, trying to flatten the kid with gravity. Caving the ground in upon landing, the monster reveals grotesque scales leaking pure lethal acid. On the screen, the ID tags it as the Miasma Toad King, bloated with level 20 pure power. Eyes narrowed and flashing an evil grin, our MC celebrates the arrival of the tanky boss stuffed with gold crystals. Shooting its slimy tongue out at the speed of sound, the fatty aims to wrap Jiang up and turn him into a quick snack. Dancing across the hazard zone, our hero makes it very clear that reaction speed is the biggest perk of his fighting style. With a purple flash in his eyes, the kid's absurd intellect plots to use his edit hack to totally ruin the beast's attack. In the holographic system, he rewrites the monster's capture skill to tangle tongue on itself, tying the boss up instantly. Flying high with his sword ready for the execution, he aims a clean strike to crack the creature's dumb right open. The sound of clashing metal ruins the plan as the blade bounces off the monster's hide without leaving a scratch. Pumping out a terrifying corrosive gas, the giant toad cans out the magic edit through sheer level difference and breaks free from its own tongue. Chilled by the danger, the MC learns the hard way about the risks of messing with the skills of beasts way above his pay grade. Sliding through the mud in his boots to dodge the venom, he admits that cheap editing tricks totally flop against major bosses. Furious, the amphibian king launches another toxic whip, breaking the sound barrier through the dead woods. Doing mid-air backflips through rotten branches, the pressure peaks as the kid's HP hangs by a literal thread. Squeezing his right eye shut for a second, the kid goes all in on the crazy gamble of editing his absolute best gear. Channeling all his magical chai into the hand wearing the ring, the kid tries to force an impossible transformation on his meteorite blade. A red flash and bloody lightning melt the weapon, molding the sword into an unholy tool of destruction. The hack's UI blinks, confirming the brutal craft, the Demon King's blade, glowing in blood and hellfire. Bathed in the cursed sword's inferno, our warrior gets into stance, ready to delete the giant toad from existence in a single hit. From the eyeball embedded in the cursed sword's hilt, an ancient demon screams, demanding to know who disturbed its eternal slumber. With his skin melting from the item's evil miasma, the MC has to destroy the boss right now, or he'll be consumed by the parasite. Unleashing a horizontal wave of pure carnage and black blood, he throws the demon's uncontrollable power forward. A scarlet flash splits the beast completely in half, sending guts and acid rain flying all over the cursed valley. Crashing into the sludge, panting like a dog out of breath, the hero realizes the attack just drained every ounce of life from his own body. Roots of red flesh start crawling up Jiang's arm, creeping out from the cursed possession locked in the weapon's grip. Trying to hit the brakes on the freaky parasite transformation, the kid pulls up his rewrite magic as his absolute last hope for salvation. Too winded to even stand, he collapses, face-planting right into the deadly swamp mud. Too weak to move a muscle, the psychological torture ramps up as he feels his editing cheat totally crash. In the dark void, the evil entity laughs at Jiang, calling mere mortals completely incompetent worms. A massive, bloody phantom materializes over the fallen hero, declaring that this body belongs to him now. Refusing to bow down, our MC blinks, triggering a blue shield on his left wrist that he kept hidden all along. Raising the flimsy spare sword in his right hand, the kid ruthlessly stabs the cursed weapon's glass eye. The weak blade detonates the sword's blood matrix in a massive blast, ripping the parasite spell right out of his veins. Screaming in a bizarre glitchy echo, the Demon King's soul promises to rip the kid's head off the next time they meet. Sighing in total relief and rubbing his dirty forehead, the gross veins fade from his skin, confirming the possession totally failed. Staring down the acid cloud, his quick plan is to format the demonic name the literal second he regains half a drop of mana. Feeling every single muscle scream in agony, the kid flashes back to the time he dealt with another annoying possession exactly like this. Back in the day, the boogeyman was Thunder King 9, a boss so ridiculously broken it forced level 80 generals to step in. But it was that exact same dumpster fire incident that taught him to jam steel into a living weapon's main core to avoid getting possessed. Deep in thought and stressed, he starts wondering if these blood entities belong to extra-dimensional invasion forces. Staring at the meteorite's dead, pierced eye, the kid knows the lore of the abyss is way more messed up than the government claims. Pushing himself out of the dirt with a thirst to win, he pulls up his owner's ring to check out the loot Pieta of the boss just spit out. Walking up to the toad's crater, he is purely focused on sucking up every single piece of valuable trash from the level 20 rotting carcass. A pink stone radiating pure magic floats over the creature's remains, practically screaming, "I'm expensive," with its glow. Hyping up his god tier RNG, the MC swears this pink battery will sell for at least 100,000 bucks on the mercenary gray market. Turning on the gold ring's vacuum mode, he sweeps up the monster parts, totally thrilled to pack his trunk with premium scales and weeds. The profit margins are going to break records, and the kid's goal is to hustle the alleyway merchants to flip this cash 3 times over. Right in the middle of his money dance, the hero spots the system notification popping up for the elimination of undefined entity. Seeing he hit level 20 way too fast, he jumps for joy, realizing his dagger's kamikaze attack farmed the demon entity too. Cooking up crazy hack theories, he imagines setting a trap that spawns the entity on an infinite loop for easy AFK farming. But reality checks back in and he drops the joke, knowing full well that summoning a tyrant who casually wipes out city blocks would be an instant game over. Acting all cocky, he concludes that suicidal hacks just aren't the vibe for a guy who fought this hard for a second chance to breathe. A loud beep goes off on the panel, delivering the Holy Grail, his promised level 20 skill. On the display, he spots the passives, Grin Basic Materials, and the absolute cherry on top of his farming tree, Pest Control. Smirking like an absolute scammer, he locks right onto the word, Pest, scheming to swap it into something that makes him completely immune to all damage. Knowing that absolute invincibility guzzles mana like a broken faucet, the kid promises to only pop the immunity when things get totally out of hand. Backflipping through the branches, the champ starts his marathon sprint out of the acid pit before his liver literally melts. High up in the leaves of a rotting apple tree, Jiang's eagle eyes spot a sneaky creep crouching and running through the brush. Squinting into the dark, the MC recognizes the ugly mug of rich kid, Lu Yun's stupid bodyguard sniffing around his turf. The bold assassin grips a knife dripping with scarlet venom, thinking he's going to play ninja and land a sneak attack. Snarling like an absolute psycho, the miserable guy named Lu Tao sucks his teeth, genuinely thinking the double F hero is the easiest prey in the woods. Dropping from the sky like an angry pigeon, the rank B agility fighter tries to shove his daggers right into Jiang's back to slice his neck in a split second. The villain's smile is huge, relying on the dumb assumption that the city's clueless crafter will be taken out in the blink of an eye. An explosive spark tears through the darkness as the hero's counterattack makes the hitman's blades completely shatter. Planting and bleeding out from a busted chest, the guard dog thrashes in the mud, trying to comprehend what ghost just hit him. Pale, completely defeated, and feeling his end approaching, the rich guy's hitman is mind blown that he just got out, sped, and clapped by a fake tinkerer. Walking through the toxic smoke like a literal movie star, our boy drags his new weapon along the dirt, acting like an absolute boss. Glaring absolute daggers and resting his arm on the deadly blade, the kid drops a savage reality check, completely humiliating the trash that tried to backstab him in the dark. Dragging the bruised villain even lower, the MC points out that only the big boss Lu Yun is actually worth wasting his precious time and out here. Turning his head and turning his back on the useless bug, Jiang takes a step right as a single tree leaf drifts down in slow motion. With atomic-level survival instincts, the MC detects the stealth strike that sliced the leaf, a lethal purple slash coming out of nowhere. Pinching the destroyed leaf with 2 fingers with alien precision, the kid smirks, realizing the real shadow boss just logged into the chat. With a massive crash that rips the rotten roots out of the ground, the terrifying Rank S Lu Yun clashes his steel right against our monster of an MC. Looking through the reflection on his sword, the assassin playboy congratulates the fake warrior for actually tanking a solid surprise attack. Jaw clenched tight, Jiang throws the trash talk right back, complimenting the daddy's boy on his ridiculously expensive weapon. Bounding backward into the dirty puddle in perfect sync, the two of them create some distance, coldly calculating their lethal strategies. Crouching in a deadly, flexible stance, the rich assassin says he wants to see with his own eyes if the #1 legend is just a massive fraud. Puffing his chest out with a fearless posture, legs perfectly steady, the kid finds the daddy's boy Rank S crying and jealousy absolutely hilarious. Pointing the pommel of his sword right at the villain, the hero's crazy bet is that whoever loses this deathmatch hands over their weapon. Swallowed by a vortex of deadly purple magic, the trust-fund assassin accepts the beef and pops his flash step buffs to completely wreck the crafter's face. Resting the steel on his shoulder like an untouchable warlord, our kid laughs, celebrating the fact that the idiot's fancy sword will be sitting in his endless inventory very soon.